If you want to get the top odds every time, bet with Top Sport's Same Game Multi. Top Sport. Feel the excitement.
Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to another edition of the Same Game Multi podcast. Thank you again for joining us. If you are listening to us on your audio devices, make sure you do head on over to YouTube. We are back on YouTube again this week. And if you are watching us on YouTube and do like the show, make sure that you do subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit the little bell notification, and we very much appreciate that. As I said, we've got another massive show this week. There's a huge UFC on, UFC 268. Usman versus Covington. We're going to have an in-depth look at the three main matches on that. Also going to have a look at a few races coming up this weekend, and J-Rod's going to run his eye over the EPL as well. So make sure you stay on side because we're about to kick off. So welcome in to my left, Mr. Cherry.
Good afternoon.
And once again to my right, a J-Rod, the Burt Man. How are we, lads?
Good. Better than I was this morning. I was a little bit dusty when I got up this morning after a full day on the sip with the Melbourne Cup. So
Too many cups.
Too many cups. 425 mils they are. Too many of them.
How was your Melbourne Cup day?
It was good. It was a good day out. I jagged a couple of winners, both in Sydney actually. So Monday night, I got a message on Facebook from the Guru. Now, in Sydney, race 5, number 9, there was a horse called the Guru. He basically sent me a quick message and said, the bigger the bet, the bigger the result. Confident. So I thought, oh, right, no worries. So I had a little bet on it. And it flashed home and won by about a length and a half. And I straight away, as soon as the horse passed the post, my phone dinged, looked at it, and the Guru sent me a message. He said, fuck, I didn't back it. And it come in at about $9.72, so... But apart from that, I did get a couple of early winners, but started to fade off towards the back end. So, but that Very Elegant, that's probably one of the best racehorses in the country at the moment. That's easy top 3 horses in the country.
It was a good run, wasn't it?
Oh, it was fabulous. Yeah. Considering Incentivise got to, the bell tower was hit with the strap and it started to kick as well. It had a good turn of foot and Very Elegant just blew past it like it was going backwards. So
yeah,
it was good to see.
How'd you go in the Cup, Ches? Did you have a win? Get a win up?
Mate, I was actually at work, worked down at the WAP, one of our sponsors there. We had a pretty good day. Lots and lots of people were around, and noticed one of the tables at about 10:15, they popped open the bottle of bubbly and everyone was having a pretty good time.
I thought I had a sore head. Yeah. Imagine having their head.
Mate, I put a couple of bets on, but no good. I backed Grand Promenade each way. And I had a first 4. I boxed 6 in the first 4. And my usual fashion, first, second, third, 6th.
You had Grand Promenade.
I had Grand Promenade. It ran 6. So I had...
Ran 5th, didn't it?
6.
No, 6.
Ah, 6.
He got beaten by a whisker.
Ah, okay.
The chosen one ran 5th, the old
Jeff Jarrett.
So I missed out the odds on Top Sport for that. I think there was paying about 5,300. I had 10% return, so I missed out on about 500 large there.
That'd have been all right.
From a little $10 bet, so
but
unfortunate.
Yeah, so Very Elegant at about 9.6 million prize money without yesterday's money, which I believe is up around 4s or 5s. I think it might be 5.4 maybe or 4.5, either way around. Basically, so I did actually get some stats on Very Elegant. So this is Very Elegant's 10th Group 1. Now, for people out there that don't follow the racing, Group 1s are the top dog. They're like the grand final of racing. That's where your big money is. Group 1, Melbourne Cup. Group 1, George Main, Randvet Stakes, the Chipping Norton, Caulfield Cup, Turnbull Stakes, Winks Stakes, the Tancredi Stakes, ATC, Australian Turf Club, Oaks, and the Vinery Stud Stakes. So they're 10 Group 1s, and I'd say that'd put Very Elegant up to around 14 million or thereabouts prize money. So considering she was purchased for 90,
About 90,000, I think they said.
90,000. So that's you do the quick maths.
Good return on investment, that's for sure.
Not bad. So
Sounds like one of my multis.
Yeah, exactly. Only that's real. Yours aren't.
Yeah.
It was good to see the race get run, boys. See a bit of a crowd there, which was good last year. I don't think they had much of a crowd there.
None.
So good to see it back to, getting back on track to its former glory. So hopefully next year will be bigger and better again.
Yeah, did you go? Did you have a bet?
I had a bet. I missed out with Grand Promenade as well. Yeah, it cost me. So
That was my tip too.
cost me a couple of hundred.
I did actually listen to the podcast. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. I did actually say Very Elegant is a chance. I didn't think it'd run 2 miles, but it proved me wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit long for it, but again, it proved me wrong as well.
Done it easy. Probably could have done 4,200.
Yeah, it was good. What was your highlight of the week, boys?
My highlight of the week was the fact that I backed the Guru and the BIM didn't. So that was a good little return, that too. So that was my highlight of the week. That was, yeah.
My highlight was just Melbourne Cup Day. It was just good to see everyone out and mingling around again with the COVID restrictions being lifted a little bit and things are a bit easier now. So it was just a fun day for all. It was really good.
Yeah, agree. For me, boys, it was, even though I bet against him last week, it was Glover Teixeira winning the UFC light heavyweight title at 42 years old. I'm not too far off that, so I've still got a bit of hope yet. So, but he's been a mixed martial artist all his life. He's worked hard, and he's finally conquered that mountain. And just to see his celebration in the ring with his family is just fantastic to see. So, if you're a follower of the sport, you know Glover's been around a long time. And I said last week he's tough, he's durable, he's dangerous, but I didn't think he'd get the victory, but he did. And so hats off and congrats to Glover.
Like a fine wine.
Yeah, and it gets better with age, mate. Lowlight, anything?
My low light is it's not football season yet, but my low light is the turmoil at Parramatta. And that's my own side. I don't understand what's going on there. I read an article today. I'm not 100% sure on how true it is, so I won't touch on too much that I don't know, but the rumours are the reason why Andrew Johns has left the Parramatta coaching staff is because Clint Gutherson's a goose. He takes no onus on himself and will not take criticism. As soon as someone criticises him, whether it's good or negative, collective in any sense, he's straight away on the defence and can't take it. I don't understand what's going on there. Once upon a time, Manly, for example, they were all taking pay cuts to keep each other. But at Parramatta, there just seems to be too many snakes in the grass. And Gutherson actually took a pay cut last time. Hence why he's chasing his $1 million now. He doesn't think that he's worth $1 million, but he thinks he's owed $1 million. And in a sense, I think he is, because he took a pay cut to stay there and to keep other players. I know Dylan Brown has offered to take a pay cut to keep people, but I don't understand what's going on. Like Regan Campbell-Gillard wants out there, talking Micah Sevo. Sevo wants to go to Union. I just don't understand what's going on there.
Papa Leahy's going to test his value on the open market.
Papa Leahy's going to, that's crazy. And they've offered him unders and it's that sort of nonsense that gets you into trouble. But boys, I just don't understand what's going on there. So that's a huge low light. And being November 1, mate, my lemon squint is winking.
And going to be a very long off season if they don't get it sorted. That's
absolutely.
For sure.
Yep.
Mate, anything?
Oh, nothing real major, but the run from Masked Crusader on the weekend cost me the charity bet as well. I think it ran about, they finished 6th.
Disappointing
same
too,
as
wasn't
Grand
it?
Promenade. It just didn't have any speed at the end there. I don't know what happened there. It's sort of, I think it was coming 3rd or 4th for like most of that, and then just coming around the end there, just, I don't know, ran out of gas or just didn't have it.
It's funny. This is something I pointed out today with Twilight Payment that won the Melbourne Cup last year. Now, it led the whole way and won. This year, it ran at the back of the field and went nowhere. The other way around, Masked Crusader generally stays at the back side of the pack and comes through them like a rocket. For some reason, it led. It was in the front of the pack. I don't know.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That was because I actually tipped that last week.
Yeah,
and it ran like a bastard.
So I don't know whether that was a problem with the jockey and the trainers having a misunderstanding about the strategy for the race. I don't know, but
blame the jockey.
Yeah, that'll do.
Mine kind of runs into that, and the fact that we didn't get any charity bets up, boys. A bit of a shame. So, thanks to Top Sport. Again, for those of you who may be new to the show, Top Sport, our major sponsor, gift us $50 a week each to bet with. All the money that we raise will be going to our nominated charities at the end of about 6 months or so. And just on Top Sport, big congratulations to them. It came out yesterday that they're partnered with Supercars for the betting agency of choice
Nice.
for supercars. So you'll see a lot of branding around Mount Panorama at the end of this month, which is fantastic for Tristan and the team. So congratulations there as well.
I actually seen the odds for that today through the Top Sport app. Holden's leading first and second to win it. I think they're by a mile too against Forward. So
Did they say who it was?
I can't remember his name. I didn't recognise the name. Win Cup was second, and I think he was a few dollars.
Van Gisbergen,
I think that's
Yeah,
it. And he was literally paying $1.
the young Kiwi. Oh,
Yeah.
They reckon he's got no fear. I did see something once that he wanted to turn his car into a drift car. And they basically said, these cars don't drift. And he said, well, let's make it drift. So basically what they had to do, they had to change all the gearbox ratios and everything like that. Now, I didn't realise this. It's the how cambered the front wheels are is how they get so much steer. They might spin the wheel completely, but those front wheels only move to about 15%. So that's why they're using their race lines and stuff like that. To get a drift car, you need it to go right out. In that, they had to cut the guards out of the front so they can get the wheels to turn far enough. They've got like all the inside sections. They had to cut it all out so the wheels wouldn't scrub in and out. Oh, it was a nightmare.
Sounds like Fast and Furious 10.
Yeah. He raced it. He raced his the Red Bull Racing. He raced it in the drifts. Actually went pretty good. So they did all that work for about a 2-hour event.
Yeah, right.
Went straight back to the garage and started changing everything again.
Good to have money, isn't it?
Oh, mate, fair income.
All right, very good, boys. That's last week wrapped up. Let's jump into 3 of a kind. What do you got for us this week, mate? Back
Boys,
into the rugby league market.
Yeah, back into the rugby league market. I touched on it earlier, is the November 1. Obviously, today's not November 1. We're at November 3. But this week, obviously, the open market is on. And it's every man for himself. So basically, if you're off contract at the end of this year, as of November 1, boys, you are approachable. So this week, what we're going to do, 3 of a kind this week. So of all the players on the open market, which I believe is up around 165 players that are on the open market, boys, this is difficult again to just pick 3. Boys, our 3 aces today for the open market. Lads, I'll start the drill. I'm going Justin Olam at Melbourne.
Oh, Justice.
Yeah, Justice, the old Justice man. Mate, he's a freak. He's a machine. He's so strong. I don't understand. I'd assume they're going to offer him another contract. They'd be mad not to. But mate, he's like, what he gets, centre of the year. Did he end up getting centre of the year?
Yeah, he wasn't even on the list to start with. And everyone kicked up a stink.
Kicked up a stink. So Justice Olam is my first ace.
Very good. We will point out a lot of these players probably will get wrapped up by their club, but as Jared said, November 1, other clubs can start talking to them and they can test their value on the open market. So that's the list we're going off. So my third ace, boys, is Joey Manu. I think he very close to getting centre of the year himself. Outstanding player, what he's been doing at the Roosters. I know the Warriors are going hard for him. They've made no bones about that. They've come out and said that publicly. I think he will re-sign with the Roosters. And I actually heard that he will resign for about 150k less than what the Warriors have offered him. Old Uncle Nick gets what he wants. But he's my third ace.
Yeah, like I've said before in the previous podcast, back when the footy season was on, a lot of those guys do prefer to take a little bit less money to stay there. So this shows what the team chemistry's like there, plus those paper bags.
Sombreros.
My third one is Tan Mill. I just think he's going to be a really good asset for someone. Those couple of games that he played there under pressure, as we've seen, handled himself pretty well. And I think at his age and coming through, he could really learn from someone else as well. So I think he might be a little one of those future buys for a team.
Bit of a smoky there.
Yeah, come from left field. Boys, second one. I'm going to go Big Tino Fa'asua Alamalawi.
Choice.
I love that bloke. I wish he was playing at Parramatta. Ryan Madison, you're lucky I'm not on the coaching staff there or somewhere up. Big Tino is a machine. He's a very, very underrated player too. I think there's another bloke, I won't mention his name. He runs amongst the kids and scores the tries, but it's Big Tino that makes the yardage up the middle and does all the hard yards, playing big minutes, making big tackles and big runs. So if you're going to build a forward pack around someone, he's someone that you want in there, particularly being a lot younger too. And from what I've heard, his leadership skills are phenomenal too.
Yeah, talk about captaincy. Obviously, Jamal Fogarty's gone to the Raiders, and your boy KP still there, Kevin Proctor.
Hey.
But it wouldn't surprise me if they wrap him up for a long term. I'm talking 4 or 5 years, and maybe next year you might see him with the C next to his name there, I reckon.
Kevin Proctor might have a run at the Watalaba Reserve grade next year. You never
Burley
know.
Bears. Boys, I've gone the cheese, Brendan Smith. I think Melbourne will wrap him up, but he's going to demand a fair chunk of money out of their salary cap. The Dolphins are there to play if they decide to have a go at him, but what he brings on the field, but also off the field, that bit of larrikin, bit of funny man business that he does bring off the field as well. It also bonds your team as well. But he'd be my second ace.
It's good to have someone like that too that can flick a switch.
Knows when to do it, knows when to
Exactly right time and
be
the
serious.
place.
Yeah,
Very powerful for his position too, isn't he? It's all
yeah.
good. Stolen. My second one's Joey Manu. I think if the Roosters did lose him, they'd find it hard to find someone to meet his calibre. His experience with the club would sort of lead into these newer players coming through. Next year, yes, we will have some players coming back, but it will be a different sort of a side again for 2022. He's just so consistent as well.
Do you think he'll play next year with one of those Perspex face guards or?
like the old we used to do that in the NBA.
The Horace Grant?
Yes.
With his big pair of goggles.
Very good.
Boys, my number one, Reid Marnie. No questions asked. Apart from the cheese, I like a definite number 9. One thing I do like about the cheese, I will give him a rap, is he's very versatile. He can play front row, he can play lock, he can defend in the middle of the field, he can play rake, he can dart from dummy half. Like you said, Ches, he's very strong too. But I will give Reid Marnie, he's my number 1 on the market. I think between himself and Harry Grant, I think Harry Grant might find himself, if he keeps playing in the form he is, Harry Grant might find himself a little trouble for the 9 spot next year in Queensland. The only issue I have with Reid Marnie is he is young and he's already done his shoulder not once but twice. So this day and age with what we've got, those things are easily recovered from. But it is a question mark.
Yeah, definitely. Boys, I've gone the white rhino himself, Christian Welch from the Melbourne Storm. I think if I was the Dolphins, I'd be going hard for him. And I'll be making him my captain. I think I said that a few weeks ago when we had the same discussion or a similar discussion. I think he's just one of those, just a leader of men. He does the hard yards. He never complains, and you always see him there. He does those little things that you don't always see off the ball as well, charge downs, chasing after a kick, all that kind of stuff. So that's who my number 1 ace is, and he'd be the captain as well.
Something about him too, where he's got his ears taped back so he doesn't get cauliflower ear and his hair's not in his face. But he's a serious footballer.
Yeah, definitely, and really smart guy too. So you think he'd choose a better sport than rugby league, but anyway.
Tennis or golf, something where there's big money.
You retire when you're 36.
Yeah, it's just a bit unfortunate we only had the 3 to choose from as well. I've just got a couple of honourables here, one of them being Christian Welch. 3 other players here that I think would be valuable to any side. Some were very underrated this year as well. Albert Kelly, Jermaine Osako and Harry Grant. They're sort of the 4 players. So if I was looking at being the Dolphins coach, I'd be looking at trying to pick some of those guys. But my number 1 is the cheese. For the obvious reasons, like we've said, there was talk a little while ago about him going to the Chooks. He was having a bit of a negotiation with them and made the old meat and 2 veg give a little bit of a tingle. It did, but we haven't heard anything else. Haven't heard anything else since that. But fingers crossed, we might just pick him up.
You know what, I wasn't 100% sure exactly who was on that list. I'd already basically picked it. But I just had to double check that Cameron Murray wasn't on that list. Because if Cameron Murray was on that list, he is my number 1.
Yeah,
Cameron Murray is an absolute machine. So.
Yeah. Very good, boys. That's it for segment 1. We're going to take a quick little break and we'll be back straight after this.
Another half win. From punters jumping in early or waiting too late. You get a good price on one leg, but the others have shortened dramatically. You still win, but it feels like you half win. Introducing Top Sport's Best of the Best multi. Get top odds on every leg, every time. Don't be one of these. Just bet and forget with Bob Multi. Top Sport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
All right, we're back. Thank you for staying with us. We're going to jump into now UFC 268 from Madison Square Garden in New York City. This one will be on about 1 p.m. Australia time on Sunday, the 7th of November. It is a stacked card. There are some great prelims, and the main card is phenomenal as well. Really disappointed, boys. We'll actually be travelling while this is on, so we won't actually get to watch it live, but I'm sure we'll get the replays and whatnot through Twitter and everywhere else. Let's jump into the people's main event. So we're going to start with the third co-main event on the card, I suppose you could call it. Now this one is between Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler, and this will be a barn burner. Let me tell you, boys, these two guys come to fight, and they love fighting. Justin Gaethje is the favourite. He's $1.46, and Michael Chandler is $2.73 at the time of recording, thanks to Top Sport. I cannot wait for this fight. It'll be an absolute phenomenal fight. If you do follow UFC, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, get on board, get onto YouTube, watch some highlights of these fighters, and you'll be really excited for the fight coming up on Sunday.
There's not much separating them either, really, is there, between their fighting record, their reach, their age. Justin Gaethje, he's actually got the same striking trainer as Usman, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So very handy with his hands there. Just having looked through his last fights here, he's come up against some names, hasn't he?
Oh,
There's some good names in there.
Murderer's row of fighters.
So, mate, I reckon out of any one of those last names, like that's definitely a main event fighter, isn't it?
So Justin Gaethje's last fight was a loss to Khabib, who was the champion at the time. He got a second round or first round armbar, I think. And he got dominated. Don't get me wrong, he got dominated in that fight. But Khabib's a different beast, and he's retired now. He's gone. But
there's not many people out there that Khabib didn't
unbeaten, 30-0.
Yeah, that he didn't dominate.
Yeah, exactly
and
right.
turn him,
But you go through his record. He beat Tony Ferguson. He beat Donald Cerrone, Edson Barboza, Dustin Poirier he lost to, Eddie Alvarez he lost to, but Michael Johnson he beat as well. Like I said, it's a murderer's row of the fighters he fought. And yeah, Chez, you're right. He is main event worthy. And for him to be the third top fight on the card is just crazy. Just goes to show how good the card is. Now, Chandler is actually the backup fighter when Gaethje versus Khabib. So he flew all the way over to Abu Dhabi, made weight, everything like that, just as a backup in case something happened to either fighter. He wasn't needed, but it just goes to show the commitment of a guy like that to do that.
And for him to go on short notice, be mentally prepared and mentally ready just to go, right, something's gone wrong, mysterious illness or something, and he's in the right headspace and physical condition to go, right, no worries, I'll walk straight in.
Yeah, and that's right.
12 hours notice, if that.
Yeah, it would be something like that.
Just looking at his fight records too, he's had a couple of matches there against Benson Henderson. Now, he used to be in the UFC. It's good. Yeah. He actually fought him in Bellator. Now, Benson Henderson, did he come through the TV show?
No, he didn't. But he's a two-time lightweight champion, I think. Beat Frankie Edgar. He didn't come through tough, but he's a good fighter, Benson Henderson. Yeah. Back in the day, he slipped a bit now. Obviously, he's getting a bit older. But yeah, he's had a couple of showdowns with him, beat him both times. Now, he's only had 2 fights in the UFC, Michael Chandler. His first fight, though, was against Dan Hooker, and he knocked him the fuck out. And if you watched the show last week, and the previous weeks, I rave about Dan Hooker. He is a phenomenal fighter, but Chandler just copped him sweet on the chin and dropped him like a bag of spuds. His second fight was actually for the vacated title that Khabib had left open, and that was against Charles Oliveira. Now, boys, get this. In the first round, Chandler beat him 10-8. 10-8, so that means he dominated him. Usually you get the score between 10-9, but 10-8 is a complete domination. And then he got caught. He got caught in the second round by a punch by Oliveira, and he got finished on the ground TKO. If he didn't get caught, he'd be the champion by now, I reckon. He was winning that fight. Like I said, complete domination in that first round. But that's what happens in the sport. It takes one punch and it can change momentum.
Yeah,
and can change a fight.
100%. It's a funny sport. Take nothing away from boxing, but boxing doesn't take a turn as dramatically quick as a UFC. And like you said, all it takes is to be checked in the right spot, and good night.
The thing with boxing is you get knocked down, the ref stops the fight and gets you back up. Yeah, not in the UFC.
I was just about to mention boxing in relevance to that first round. 10-8 in boxing means you've dominated the fight plus 1 or 2 knockdowns for that round. So
10-8 it doesn't sound like much, but it is a domination in as far as UFC goes. So both men love to fight. I'm really on the fence here. I don't know who to pick. Like I said, I'm just really ashamed that I won't get to watch it because it's one of those fights that you tune in for. Main event any day of the week. We've got a couple of championship fights in front of it, hence why it isn't the main event. But who do you like, boys?
Boys, I'm going to go Justin.
Yeah.
I'm going to go off him a little bit like a racehorse. I'm going to back him off form. As you said, Chandler's only ever had those two fights in the UFC. In my eyes, the UFC is the pinnacle. That's the tip of the iceberg. So I'm just going to go, as I said, very similar form to basically a horse race. Only because he's had, Donald Cerrone, he's fought Tony Ferguson, Eddie Alvarez as a weapon. Obviously, sort of faded himself away a little bit when McGregor was on the backside of his run. Dustin Poirier, mate, on that alone is why I'm going to back him. So I just think he's just got that little bit better form.
pretty much took the words straight out of my beak. That did. I'm going to for that reason too. Like just looking at his form against those fighters that he's had in those previous fights compared to Chandler's. The only one out of Chandler's I know is Dan Hooker and Vincent Henderson. Sorry, I don't watch much Bellator. Only if there's sort of like a celebrity / big name fighter that's dropped from the UFC down to go in there. So I'll be going with Justin Gaethje for that one.
The thing that worries me about Justin is he hasn't fought since October last year, and it was that loss. And it was a pretty humiliating loss. Habib dominated him, make no bones about it. But the layoff, a year. Hey, same thing with Glover last week, but look what happened there. Chandler's fought twice this year, once in January, once in May. I'm going to go the upset, boys. I'm going Michael Chandler. I really like him, really like what he's about. I like his dedication. If you haven't watched it, check out the UFC Countdown show and the Embedded. You get some great insights into the fighters, a bit of backstory as well for if you don't know the fighters too well. But I'm going to go Chandler, boys. I'm going to go the upset.
Go on the upset, 2v1.
All right, so that one will lead into the co-main event of the night. Now, this is a women's strawweight championship fight. It is Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili. Now, this is their second fight. It's a rematch. They fought in April this year, where Rose landed a beautiful head kick out of nowhere, dropped Weili, and then finished it with strikes. It was all over. She was a big underdog in that fight. Weili is a beast. If you haven't seen her, she is a beast of a thing. Cardio for days and just built like a brick shithouse. No offense, but I wouldn't like to be coming up against her. But Rose, she's a slight thing, but she's so damn good. And she, like I said, she popped up a little head kick off the front foot, collected a sweet on flush on the chin, knocked her down, bang, night over. And that was it, all she wrote.
That was early in the first round too, wasn't it?
It was really early on, yeah.
I think it was like a minute 20 into the first round.
Yeah. She was the underdog in that fight, and she's the underdog in this fight. She's paying $1.99, whereas Weili's $1.81. Again, thanks to Top Sport there. But, yeah, I don't know, boys. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, looking at the price, I sort of think that the bookies are sort of biting their nails as well. They don't really know which way it's going to go either. You've got, having said that, $1.99 to $1.81. Still, that's not a definitive favourite either. So, no. Like you said, mate, this could go either way. Tricky one.
I reckon that those odds, so, excuse me, that would reflect from the last fight they had. There wasn't much of a fight because of the time limit. I think if that fight went a bit longer, maybe the odds would be a little bit different as well. They would have got to see how they got to test each other. But I'm going to lean towards Weili, I think, on this one. I reckon she might sort of be a bit more, what's the word?
Prepared?
Yeah, prepared, but a bit more...
Focused.
bit more, focused. There's another word. Anyway, it'll come to me in a second.
4 a.m. in the morning.
I think that she might be a bit more ready for this fight than she was the first time around. It might take a bit of a different strategy. And a bit more cautious was the word. Cautious.
He's got it in the end, finally.
Finally got there.
Thought we were going to be a 4-hour podcast while he thought of that. The thing with Weili, boys, she's working with Henry Cejudo, who's a former bantamweight champion, Olympic gold medalist as well. So she's working with him on the wrestling. So I think we might see a bit of that if the fight does get in, go a bit longer than the first one did. He's a world-class fighter. He's retired at the moment. And talk about him coming back. But so she's working with him. She's also flown over to America. She's from China. She's flown over a lot earlier because she felt that last time she didn't have enough time to acclimatise and accustomise to the jet lag and all that kind of stuff, which, you can hear that and maybe think is an excuse. But unless you're there and have done that flight and, gone into a fight like that, you don't know whether it's an excuse or not, or whether it actually did happen and she felt a bit off. So.
She might have got stuck into the complimentary wine on the way over. What was it, 44 cans of VB? David Boone.
Boone, man.
She might have been sitting up with Booney having a couple of sips.
That reminded me, I have to get some stats for this for next week. I'm going to look up the Andre the Giant's record for beer cans on the flight. I think it was from America to France or from France to the USA.
I do remember.
It's a lot. It's like, is it 80 something cans or not? It's huge.
When they converted it into litres. No, it might have been gallons because they work off American ratio, but it was a couple of gallons or something. Oh, it's fucking a lot. Not quite as much as I had yesterday.
All right, back onto the fight, boys. who we picking and how do you think it's going to get done?
I'm going to go the Rosebush.
Rose?
Yeah.
Thug Rose.
I'm going to call she's got a good history of it, rear naked choke. I'm going to call it.
Nice. Going Zhang Wei?
Yeah, going to have to, I think. I'm going to have to. I reckon that hopefully it goes longer than the first round. Hopefully longer than a minute. I reckon it.
Not the only thing you hope goes longer.
I had to pause then. I had to think what I was talking about.
How true.
Yeah, I'm just going to back her head to head, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think the fight will play out a little bit different. I think it'll go longer. Wouldn't be surprised if Weili does get the W, but Rose is so damn good. On the fence again. I'll go the favourite, Weili. All right, boys, let's get into the main event, and this one will be a humdinger. I cannot wait for this. We've got Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. The Nigerian Nightmare, as Usman is known, and Chaos is Covington's nickname. Boys, this is, again, a rematch. These guys fought back in December 2019, I think it was, and it was an epic fight. I actually watched it in research of the poddy today, and it was a great fight, great championship fight. 5 rounds. Usman got the win in the last minute. It was a fantastic performance from both men. Cardio for days, and I think this one won't be much different. I think it'll be another classic. But how do you see it playing out?
After the first 2 rounds in their first fight, I think Usman worked out his striking a bit too. That's what led him on to be able to come back and work out how to counter him and stuff as well. I'm going to lean towards Usman strongly here. 100% takedown defense as well. I think there'll be too much taking down, but that's another one of his stats for him there. Mate, Nigerian Nightmare all day. I think that, Colby's, I don't know, a bit of a wanker. To me, he just comes across to one of those sort of jock fellas and...
Yeah, they're completely different, personalities. One's, Usman, he's a professional. It'd be hard for him to say a bad word about anyone except for Colby. Whereas then you got Colby, he's the brash American, Donald Trump loving, make America great douchebag. But I don't mind him. I don't mind a stick with him. It's a bit over the top, but. He's selling himself. He's made a fucking shitload of money from doing it because people hate him. And if we all like a bit of the old school wrestling, everyone loves a heel. You love to hate someone, and that's what he's done. He knows that not everyone's going to like him, so he's gone the other way and said, "Hey, everyone can fucking hate me instead."
Exactly right, and he's got the ability to back it up too. A lot of people have flogged Conor McGregor for it, but guess what? Conor McGregor's bashed people he bashes people for a living. Yeah. Obviously had a bit of a rough end of the stick, but
at least he's not like Josh Koscheck. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but I was just looking here too, boys. He's beaten George Masvidal in a decision. In that too, boys, I just read there 9 of his fights have been in a decision.
Usman.
So, yeah, Usman.
Yeah.
So when you talk about match fitness and a bit of extra cardio, that's over a 5-year period. But when you go on the distance, rather than a first round head kick, as we were talking about in the last fight we spoke about, boys, that goes a long way to put that little bit extra petrol in the tank.
3 of his last 4 fights have actually been either KO or TKO. The last one was, one of them was against Colby, which was in the 5th round. So, that's nearly a decision, and he would have won it. When I looked at the market for this, boys, and I saw that Colby, he was $3.30, and Usman was $1.34. I thought, oh, geez, that's a bit long for Colby. But then I watched the fight, and apart from the first round of that first fight, which was really, really close, I think Usman won all 5. It would have been 5 if it went to a decision, but it was either, 4 rounds to none or 3 to 1. After the first round, like you said, Ches, he worked out Colby's striking and kind of settled into his own game plan. And then I realised, okay, that's why Covington's about $3 outside of here. So Usman's a more polished fighter. He's a better striker. These two are great college wrestlers, but not one takedown attempt in their first fight. It was fought on the feet in the phone box. They just slugged it out, which was great to watch.
Good to watch.
I think the best thing about that Covington's this little promo video with those bikini girls on the ball.
Yes. So I can't wait for this fight again. I'm a bit disappointed not going to see it. Who you got?
Mate, I'm gonna go the favourite here. I'm gonna go Uzi. Just looking through his history here. Georgie Masvidal twice. I remember this is how good George Masvidal is. He smoked someone. He was sitting at his press conference. He had a little split underneath his eye, and he's just to prove to Dana White who he is and he's the real deal. He was eating a toasted sandwich whilst talking to the press.
Toasted sambo.
Straight after his fight. So take nothing away, boys. There's look through that list. There's no shortage of schmucks in there. So, in the words of Conor McGregor, the old schmuck. But I'm gonna stick with Uzi here. I think he'd be way too strong.
Yeah, I'm leaning the same as you, mate. He broke his jaw in the first one. I reckon he's going to crack his skull in this one. I've got him written down here.
Car accident.
KO or TKO in the 3rd or the 4th.
Yeah, I like you, Ches. That's where I am as well. I think he'll finish him again. Wouldn't have surprised me if it does go a 5-round decision. Both tough, durable guys. But I'm going to go Uzi for I'll go 4th round TKO. Should be a great fight card. So get on over to your pay-per-view provider and make sure you do purchase that as well. Let's have a little run through the EPL.
Yeah, the EPL this weekend. A couple of good games coming up. Boys, I actually watched a game. So I support Everton. Now, obviously, yesterday I had yesterday off for the had an RDO for the Melbourne Cup, which worked out well. So Everton played yesterday morning and got beaten by. It was disappointing, but it was good to see. Good to see a bit of Everton play. But boys, at the moment, I tell you what, there's some dramas at Manchester United. If it wasn't for Cristiano Ronaldo, they'd be in some big strife, I reckon, at the moment. So they played Champions League this morning. In their Champions League game, they played Atlanta. Now, Atlanta, they had them down 2-1. Cristiano Ronaldo scored in the 91st minute. So it was in injury time that they scored, or additional time, so the technical term. Boys, I tell you what, this for a side, and I tell you what, old Gunner, the coach at Manchester United, I think he's in some the pressures on, the burners are on over there. I'm not going to tread lightly. They don't fuck around. There was I can't pronounce his name properly, but it was the Tottenham Hotspur coach. He was sacked after 6 games this year.
Jesus.
And in that, he won the Manager of the Month award too. So somehow 6 games, wins Manager of the Month and gets sacked. So get that up, you boys. But a big game this weekend, Manchester United versus Manchester City. And boys, I tell you what, at the moment, Manchester City are on fire. There's goals coming everywhere there from them, and Manchester United are sort of struggling a little bit, boys. I can see this being a bath at Old Trafford. That place might be burnt down. So
I was going to say, is the post-match bit like Green Street Hooligans?
I think it could be, but no, boys. I think the burners are on there and they're in trouble. But boys, when I talk about it, the big five, the big six, I'm talking Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, etc. Leicester City at the moment. Boys, there's some big games on this weekend. Some that are a little bit. What would you say? Not compared to the big clubs. There's a couple of like reserve grade games this weekend, boys. But I've got a little multi. There's actually some Champions League on tomorrow. So in that, there's a couple of where I've lost my notes here. So Manchester City will play Club Bridge tomorrow, and then they'll back up on the weekend and they'll play Premier League. So to Liverpool, they'll have their arse hanging out. They'll be playing Atletico Madrid, but I haven't said that. That'll be at Anfield in Liverpool in England. So they'll have the home crowds behind them, boys. And I've got a little soccer multi to put on. This will be part of my charity bet as well, boys. So this weekend I'm going to roll in. It's going to be four. I've lost my fucking notes again here, boys. For Manchester City, Chelsea, Brentford to beat Norwich City. And Brighton Hove Albion, they'll beat Newcastle. So I'll go through Manchester United head to head against Man City.
Start that again.
Manchester City to beat Manchester United. Boys, Chelsea will beat Burnley, and I think they'll do it easy. Brentford will beat Norwich, and in my eyes, Brighton Hove Albion will beat Newcastle as well. Lads, you'll get $6.15.
It's not bad. I'm just looking at the odds there now. When was the last time Manchester United were paying $4.70?
A long time ago.
Honestly.
I think I've seen it.
Particularly in a derby too, because that's the sort of games where you turn up. Because I tell you what, if not, there could be some trouble. But they got an absolute smoking 2 weeks ago, and there was a meme on Facebook that said that's a funny time for Manchester United to have a fire drill at Old Trafford. So what it was the 60th minute. They were down 4-0 and the crowd was leaving. And the caption was, there's been a fire drill in the 60th minute. So that just shows over there that's how, they're fanatics. And they stick around. They watch, they live, eat and breathe football over there, or soccer as we call it over here. Just how bad they're going when half the stadium walks out at 60 minutes in.
Sounds like a Bulldogs match. All right, boys, that's good. We're going to wrap up this segment. We'll be back straight after this with a bit of fun. We've got 21 and done, beer of the week, so make sure you stick around.
You can't beat Top Sport's best of the best multis. Top odds are guaranteed during any Saturday Metro meeting. Plus, there's best of the best to win up to $25,000 on the McKinnon Stakes and Darley Sprint too. Top Sport, feel the excitement.
T's and C's apply. Gamble responsibly.
All right, we're back. Thank you again for sticking around. We're going to jump into our charity bets now. Before we forget, like we nearly did last week. Again, thanks to Top Sport, $50 each per week. Have a little play around with and see if we can't get a little bit of value, a bit of money back for our chosen charities. Ches, you also want to have a little multi you got on?
Mate, yeah, I don't have a multi in this. I don't know whether Top Sport are featuring it this weekend or not. Could be a little bit early, but there's another Players' Championship for the darts this weekend. And I think this weekend is the time for Michael Van Gerwen. He has to win something between now and the end of the month, or his World Championship run is going to be hard. He's coming up against the likes of this weekend. There's pretty much a full squad. So you got your Gerwin Prices, your Snake Bites, Gary Anderson will feature in there, plus all these young guys coming through as well. So I think looking at the market at the moment, Gerwin is second favourite to Gerwin Price. So Price is $5 and
Gerwin or Goodwin?
Gerwin Price is $5 and Michael Van Gerwen's $5.50. I think he really needs to do something very, very quickly just to get his confidence up to make a World Championship run. Otherwise, I might slip through his fingers pretty early on in the piece. Another little thing we got here tomorrow night, being Thursday, we got Australia playing Bangladesh in the cricket.
Pressure's on too.
Yes, and on the Friday, the West Indies or the Windies versus Sri Lanka as well. So they'll feature in my charity bet.
Let's hope they get more than 55 runs this time.
Speaking of pressure on.
Who wants to go first with the charity bets?
Boys, I'll lead off here. A couple of big races this weekend too, lads. A couple of Group 1s. It's that time of year. Spring Racing Carnival in Australia is one of the best racing carnivals in the world. Prize money and continuous races, boys. I was touch on, we had a yarn earlier. There's the Golden Gift. It's in Sydney now. I'll stay away from that. When I had to look back through it, so it's basically for your lower class, big class horses, if that makes sense. For example, that's a Group 1 worth $1 million to the winner. So basically, boys, There's a horse in there that horses in there that haven't even had a start. They haven't even won, so this is their first race they've ever had. These horses are that good, they're going straight into a Group 1, and one of them was purchased as a foal for $2.1 million, and it was a foal. Hadn't even raced, hadn't even looked like racing yet. So, but we'll stay away from that one, boys. That one's way too hard to pick. They're all there for a reason. So, boys, this weekend, the McKinnon and the Daly Sprint Classic, boys. So, big names in the Sprint Classic. You're right over there, Tez, or what? Bit parched. Nature Strip, boys. Streets of Avalon, Spintex. September run, boys, is one too. This is your official reminder out there, Hawkeye, too, because I know you'll be listening. Bella Nipotina. Melbourne, race 6, number 6. There's your reminder, mate. I bet you'll have money on that. So, boys, in the McKinnon, boys, I'm going to go. This one's a tricky one. In there is Zaki. Now, Zaki was scratched alongside too Colette, which won convincingly last weekend. It was a fabulous run. Also, too did Superstorm. Boys, this is going to be a really good race. But I'm not 100% sold on why Zaki's there. When it was scratched from the Cox Plate going to the McKinnon Stakes, I think they know something we don't. So there's one for you, boys. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to stay away from Zaki. Boys, I'm going to have Nature Strip to win into Superstorm to run a place.
Backing it to lose.
Backing it to lose, boys. We don't back horses to lose, but for this sake, mate, think of the people in need out there in charities, mate. How dare you, boys? At this point, that's $4.86 for both of them. So Nature Strip to win, Superstorm to place. Alongside, I'll go back over Man City, Chelsea, Brentford, and Brighton Hove Albion to win. I'll be having 25 large on each of them, and that second one $6.15.
Be nice if both of those get up, mate.
We'll be cheering.
Bloody oath. For me, boys, I'm going to do a little 4-leg multi here. I'm going to look at the UFC, what we just spoke about. So I'm going to go Chandler into Weili into Usman, and then I'm going to go Zaki to win the McKinnon Stakes as well. And that one is paying $14.81. I'm going to have the whole 50 on that. So plenty of cash in the return basket if we get that one up as well. So little 4-legger there.
I'm putting on 2 this week, and they're split bets, both $25 on each. Bit of a mix of sports involved in them as well. So the first one I'll kick off starts with the NFL. Starts on Friday. I'm going the Colts to beat the Jets, New Orleans Saints to beat the Atlanta Falcons, Buffalo Bills to roll the Jacksonville Jaguars, Dallas Cowboys to beat the Denver Broncos. I nearly said Brisbane Broncos then. Denver Broncos. Baltimore Ravens to beat the Minnesota Vikings, the LA Rams to beat the Tennessee Titans. Into the cricket, as I mentioned this before, Australia and the West Indies to win, and that's paying $7.18 through TopSport. My second bet, this is a bit smaller. I'm going Mo'unga for a place on the weekend. Back him to lose.
Hopefully he won't run fourth again.
Yeah. And then in the UFC, just head-to-heads, Vera to beat Frankie Edgar, Gatchke and Usman in the UFC, and that's paying $7.94.
Nice bet. So 25 on each?
25 on each.
Beautiful. We'll get some done for sure. All right, boys, that's our charity bet wrapped up for this week. We're now going to have a bit of fun. Going to pit the boys against each other in another edition of 21 and Done. Love this segment, so let's make sure we test our buzzers, Ches.
Ches.
Bertman.
Working perfectly. Nice, easy one to start off, as per always.
We've heard that before.
Who ran fourth in this year's Melbourne Cup?
Bertman. I'm thinking of Twilight Payment, but it's not.
Get out.
Floating artist.
Floating artist. He's off the board.
They run in the same colours.
Buzzed in a bit too early there, mate.
I did.
Story of your life. Yeah. All right, very good. Which Aussie tennis player has a surname similar to a mixer commonly used with gin?
Bernard Tomic.
Bernard Tomic. That's correct. Very good. Multiple choice. How many teams are there in the NBA Eastern Conference? Is it A, 13, B, 15, or C, 17?
Ches, 15.
15's correct. Beautiful. 2 plays 1. Now, at the time of recording, this is correct. However, Australia do play after we record, so it might change. But who is currently Australia's leading wicket taker in this year's T20 World Cup?
Is it Zampa?
It is Adam Zampa. He's got 5 and Mitchell Stark's got 4. So,
Surprise.
like I said, may change by the time you hear this podcast and if Australia has played. So, don't at me. All right. Which Aussie boxer is famous for the sentence, "I love yous all"?
Ches. Fennick.
Jeff Fennick. Correct. 3 plays 2. This is nice.
I was going off your voice. I thought you were saying Rocky or something.
All right. What sport would you be playing if you played for the San Jose Sharks?
Ches. It's not ice hockey, is it?
It is ice hockey. Now, I've got a rule. You can't say it's. You can't answer with a. It's not. Okay,
That's
all right.
That
Can't answer with a question. Commonly known as cold ass is V8 supercar driver Mark who?
Birdman, Winterbottom.
Yes, I just made that up too, by the way.
Frosty's his real name.
Former multiple choice again. Multiple choice. Former UFC women's bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey won what color medal at the 2008 Olympic Games? Is it A, gold, B, silver, or C, bronze?
Ches bronze.
Ches bronze is correct.
She also got bashed by Holly Holm. One of the best things.
Hey,
One of the best things I'd ever seen, baby.
All right, 5 plays 3. What is the name of the Australian women's basketball team? Don't buzz in all at once.
Thinking
I can't think of fucking netball.
yeah, the netball is the Opals. It's not the Opals. I'm going to say the Diamonds.
That's what I would
Oh, Bertman. Diamonds.
I can't because it's the Opals.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, that's thinking another
You did
netball.
say Opal, so I'll give it to
Yes.
Give it to Birdo.
you. I think the
Yeah.
Diamonds might be. I think you had them around the wrong way. I don't know
right.
netball. I'll get that on for next week.
Give us a look. I won't say that.
Oh, netball. I was thinking basketball.
What? It was basketball.
Oh, fucking confusing me.
Still drunk.
Yeah.
All
I've got me
right.
back. Give me a break.
All right, we good to go?
Good, yeah, give
All
me.
right, question 10. We got 5 versus 4. How many points is a goal worth in AFL?
Bertman, a goal is 6.
6 points, 5 apiece. Beautiful. Okay, you boys should get this. According to dartworld.com.au, what height should the centre of the bullseye be from the ground?
5'8".
5'8" is correct. I would have taken 68 inches, and not the first time, and I would have taken 1.73 metres as well. So Chaz with the points, 5'8".
Bit of bestiality.
Who kicked the first 20-40 in the NRL?
Bertman, that was. I can picture his face. Caught him all by surprise. Ches, you go.
Wasn't Adam Reynolds, was it?
Definitely wasn't. We spoke about him today in our 3 of a kind.
Brandon Smith.
Brandon Smith.
Caught him by surprise. I was watching that. They
was.
They were ready to.
It was in like the semi-finals or the prelim finals. It was late in the season. Yeah,
They were ready to play the ball until
gets
the
Penrith too because
Yeah.
Dylan Edwards was the one
He
that struggled.
watched it go
That's
over.
right. Yeah. All right. Question 13. Which Williams sister is taller, Venus or Serena?
Which one's better?
Flip a coin. I'll go first. Ches, Serena.
Bertman, Serena.
Venus. She is 1.85 and Serena is 1.75. But Serena's obviously been a lot more successful. Question 14. What was F1 driver Michael Schumacher doing when he suffered a
Bertman.
traumatic brain injury in 2013?
He was water skiing.
Close.
Oh,
It was
I'm
skiing.
going to guess be.
It was snow. It was either snow skiing, Ches.
I'll say skiing. I was going to say jet skiing, but you led me on Australia, so I was to say skiing.
Snow skiing.
Yeah, I was close. One of them.
Was 7 apiece.
One
This
was
is one of
frozen.
the closest ones ever. All right. In Olympic weightlifting, what colour light does a lifter receive for a successful lift?
Ches, green.
You'd think, but it's not.
Aqua green. I don't know. Blue.
Wrong.
Isn't it orange or it's like orange or red? It's you think it was the opposite. Don't they go like? Doesn't it go ding ding ding? Then it hits when they hold it for long enough. Is
Yeah.
that what-
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about, but it's a colour.
I'm going to go white.
I'll give you the points.
Yeah,
White's correct.
I was just thinking then because they use it in all of the in your long jump and stuff. If it's clear,
White
your
flag.
white goes up. Yeah.
All right, little follow-on question. What is the minimum number of lights required for a valid lift?
Ches, 4.
5.
Oh, must be 3 then.
1.
2.
3 judges. You need 2 out of 3. So
Well,
2 is correct.
I don't lift weights. I just drink cans.
Hey, bicep curls, mate.
8 apiece. 8 apiece. All right. Another and final multiple choice question. How many times has JT won the Golden Boot Award for Best Player in the World in rugby league? For those of you that don't know who JT is, Jonathan Thurston.
Are you going to give us the multiple choice?
Yeah, I'm just fucking letting me finish the question. Is it A, twice, B, thrice, or 4, or C, 4 times?
Birdman, I'm going to go 4.
Over to you, Cherry.
I'll go JT for the hat trick there. 3 times.
Hat-trick is correct. 3 times. They were in 2011, 13 and 15. Still dirty on him for snubbing us at the casino.
What's our dreams?
The Voldemort.
9v8. What sport is the term bases loaded
Jazz.
used in?
Baseball.
Baseball.
Softball.
Mainly baseball.
Softball.
T-ball.
Hey, T-ball.
Is he back? What is former UFC middleweight champion Anderson Silva's nickname?
Ches, Spider.
Spider. Gosh, he's on a ball today. Having played 16 seasons for the New York Giants, what is the name of Peyton Manning's brother?
I don't know, Peyton Manning. He was a running back, wasn't he?
No.
A quarterback, was he? Yeah. Emmitt Smith.
3 letters will get you out of trouble. Only 3-letter name.
3-letter name.
Starts with an E.
Egg.
Egg Manning.
Eli.
Eli. Yes, correct.
How the fuck we meant to know that?
Oh, bloody hell. Come on. All right.
I was thinking like Tom.
Closest to. So your fate's in your own hands. You both get a turn to answer. How many test wickets has Shane Warne taken? One of you can go first. And I don't want none of this one more or one less shit that you pull. Both of you guilty.
Bertman, test wickets.
Test wickets. Shane
So
Warne,
I know
the great
he's-
man.
I know he's second in the world to Muralitharan. I think Muralitharan was up around 8.
Is that your final answer?
No. I think it was. So I actually remember watching the test when he took his 400th, his 500th, but I don't remember any further. But I'm going to say 7-13.
7-13. Mr. Cherry?
643.
6:43. It is 7:08. Birdo gets the victory again. 4 points for there. So fantastic.
Hey, yes.
Come
get
home,
that up your
come
chest.
home with the
Lucky it was
goods
a
in the
cricket
end
question,
there.
mate. Lucky it was cricket.
So we end up being 13-12. Oh, hang on. There's actually a bonus question here, boys. This one is going to be worth 63 points. So if you get this right, you'll win for the next 3 weeks in a row. Who will catch the most fish this weekend?
Clint. Deborah.
Yeah! 3 weeks. Little bonus question in there. So fantastic. Yeah, we're off for a bit of a boys' weekend this weekend, so could be a few shenanigans coming to the channel and to the social, so keep an eye over the weekend for that. Very good, boys. 3 weeks in a row. Anything you want to say, mate?
I do have something I want to say, and I was going to bring this up a little bit earlier, but I'm going to say it now whilst the lights are on. Do you know anything about the previous scores that David Warner and Aaron Finch have scored in their last? Oh no! Hey,
Anyway, moving on. We're going to be looking at.
must be big listeners.
Let's just review those scores from the 21 and done. Fantastic. Finch has obviously listened to the show. He's taken a lot of advice off me, who's played 4 games of cricket in his whole life back in under 12s. So it's good to see. Finally, he's got the kick up the arse he needed, mate. He's actually performing.
Well, the one that I sent you the message and said, "Do you know anything about this?" That was against the reserve grade side. against Sri Lanka.
That's the only way he can get his runs.
But then he ended up coming and having a really good knock against England, who are I've tipped to win the comp.
Who smoked us, by the way.
Yeah. But
Anyway, not to worry. I'm glad to see him going well. If he's going well, Australia's going well.
I bet you are.
Just touching on the cricket too, that Will Pukowski looks like he's going to miss the Ashes too due to concussions.
Again.
Yeah.
So there was talk that he was good, but then he might have had some delayed
I had
symptoms.
a little bit of late mail this Savi when I was doing my multis. And Tyrone Main has been sacked as well from the Panthers. That was on the next one.
Come through, has it?
Yeah, come through the Savi.
Well,
So does that mean
surprised he didn't make our 3 of a kind if he's on the open market.
Now tell me this. I think he might be dating Ivan's daughter.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Hey, it could be over. How do you reckon that's going to go? Ivan, Tyrone, that's it. Just don't even say anything. Just nod at each other.
Very good. That's breaking news here on the podcast. We break all the big stories, so stick around. Let's do... So the White Bull Hotel, as always, great sponsors of the show. Get on down there if you are in the local Armidale area. Mr. Hawkeye, fantastic listener, follower of the show. What does he fix you up with this week, boys?
Mate, legend himself, Hawkeye's lent us with what he likes to call the Silver Bullets, a little Resch's Pilsner can.
It's a bit different to Silver Bullet, I know, but anyway. Is it buzzing?
No batteries required, mate. Me and him have actually sampled a couple of these on tap previously down at the White Bull. They're very nice. It doesn't have a stupid spill like the one there last week. It's a full strength, so 1.3 standards for a can, so a bit more for a schooner, obviously, because of the volume difference. Mate, easy to put down. Just as you can see, we're on a.
So no driving for you tonight?
No, I think I'll be staying home tonight. Pretty easy to get down, mate. Good work, Hawk, mate. I love these 4.5 stubby lids.
Ooh, nice high rating.
4.5. Boys, this is the first time I've had it, actually. And it's actually not a bad drop, but like you said, Clint, it doesn't buzz, but at 1.3, I tell you what, if you have a couple, it'll make you buzz. But it's actually, it's easy drinking too. Yeah. It's real easy drinking, boys. I'm going to give it 4.
Fantastic. Nice high stubby lid rating, so make sure you do get on down to the White Bull and grab yourself a 6-pack of the Resch's Pilsner. Fantastic drop, according to the lads. That's about it, boys. Is there anything else we want to cover off quickly before we wrap it up?
I think I've said everything for this week.
Aaron Finch.
Make sure you follow us on all our socials. Head on over to our website and sign up to become an SGM club member. I did tease it last week, and I'm going to tease it a little bit more today. We are looking at doing a BBL tipping comp for our SGM club members, so if you aren't one, make sure you get on over. There's going to be a cash prize up for grabs as well, so and not just a little short, a little pissy amount like some others do. So it's only a 2-month competition, and there's going to be some good prize money on offer. So make sure you do head on over to our website, which is on screen at the moment, and sign up to become a member today. Give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube if you are listening. And as always, don't text and drive, and we'll see you next week.